in part 1 of a multi-part series of Dr. Deborah King's near-death experience. Deborah went into full cardiac arrest and found herself out of her body in a black void. As she moved toward a growing light, the darkness opened into a vast living web of souls, and Deborah realized she was not only part of it, but an important part of it. Now in part 2, Deborah says a divine presence begins helping her understand what she is seeing, as her experience turns toward moments from her own life.
And the highlights of the experience then proceeded into a life review at first, in which I was shown pictures of my life in a very rapid sequence, like you were watching a slide presentation or a video that was on fast forward. And I was like, wait a minute, slow down. And when I said that or felt that, then it would stop at certain sequences. And I was like, wow, I remember that. But they were not things that I would have expected to be shown. They were things that were maybe what we might consider small or tiny details. There were some that were wonderful, parts of my life, highlights, the birth of my children, my relationships with many of my animals, things that were important parts of my life. But then I started to be shown things where I believe I was not as loving as I could have been. And when they started, I thought, oh boy, I'm not sure I want to look at these. And I was immediately reassured that the reason I was being shown these was as a learning experience, that there was no judgment, although I was judging myself for sure, that this is to learn from these experiences. One that I'll share, which I can just recently have been able to talk about without being overwhelmed with emotion, was an encounter that I had with a homeless individual. And I was coming out of a restaurant with a friend of mine. We had gone there after work, and we both had doggy plates and a lot of food. And I was very excited because I wanted to bring food home for my family. And I exited the restaurant and I locked eyes with this homeless individual. And I remember thinking, I know what's coming. And I don't want to see it, because in that encounter, I chose not to give him my food. Very unlike me, just very unlike me. I worked in many ministries, as well as free clinics for the homeless. I had a heart for the homeless and for vulnerable populations. So when I locked eyes with this man, I remember this internal decision happening. Okay, are you going to give him your food, or are you going to bring this food home? And I made the decision not to. And I remember the look in his eyes, which was so far beyond disappointment that I can't really describe it. So here he appears in my life review. And I was like, okay, I don't want to see this. And again, I was reassured that this was a lesson. And I thought, okay, all right, well, what is the lesson? We should feed the hungry. That wasn't the lesson, actually. What I was told and what I became aware of was that this individual was hungry, absolutely. Would he have loved my food? Yes. But the shame that he had over his situation and the fact that here I was walking out of this restaurant, wearing nice clothes, looking at him, and his internal dialogue was, well, of course you're not going to give me your food. Now, again, this is in my life review. So I am having this spiritual experience and being told what his internal experience was that I would have never known. Shame, one of tremendous shame. I brought this on myself. I have nobody to to blame for this but myself. Of course you're not going to give me your food. Why would you? And I had no way of knowing this. And this was very heavy in the life review. The lesson, and then the awareness was that the lesson was never judge anybody from what we can see on the outside. We never know what battles they are fighting or that they have fought or how they got to that place. And that individual was me. Not only that it could be me, but it was. And that whatever we do to the other, we do to ourselves. And that's really the way it works.
In part 3, Deborah says the life review expands beyond her own memories and into the lives of other souls until she is told to look past the events themselves.
And immediately I heard the words, don't look at the events. Look at the lights.
Join us tomorrow for part 3 of a multi-part series of Dr. Deborah King's near-death experience.